I'll just do it. You know, you can put these in as well, you know. Alright, oh, well, if you're busy cooking, though. Oh, I should say cook. Cooking,
Let's
shouldn't
see. You want me to cook, you want me to run them, and you want me to put them in. Okay.
I? Well, if you ain't going to get your hands dirty digging.
You do have this management thing down, don't you?
Now we find out whether or not the lanterns stop them spawning.
But yeah, I'm quite interested to get into some of the later chapters of it and find out, because I know there's, you know, how in 2070 you have your techs that you build your labs and do research. I think in this you still do research, but I think it's through the monasteries.
Right.
I think you actually do research, probably not quite the same way, but that you do research through getting the monks and abbots and all to come up with new technologies and stuff. And then I'm seeing people. I've watched a few episodes of like people doing let's plays, and like there's apparently like a witch's hut or something.
Really?
That you can find in the game. Yeah, there's like you can find like a witch's hut, and the witches there will like create healing potions and stuff for you or something like that.
What would you give healing potions to?
Like I said, some kind of potion like that. I don't know if it's. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention because I didn't want to spoil it for me.
Yeah.
You know, but I do remember them saying something about making potions for you. So I don't know exactly what they're for. But yeah, the game's definitely got some depth to it. Possibly not quite as much as what Anno does, but pretty close. And I think the maybe the only true difference is the fact that it's only got the two factions instead of the three.
Yeah, I'll give you some cobble to take back with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I actually have to come back to recharge my backpack as well.
So is there any clue exactly how many different blocks and machines are in this pack?
Oh, I can hear a wisp. Uh-oh.
I mean, I pulled up NEI and scrolled through it, and I know that's not everything by a long shot, because I'm coming across stuff, you know, that, like you said, the forestry stuff, that isn't in there.
Well, that's it. The recipes aren't in there. But it's amazing the amount of mods. I mean, just compiling them and getting them all up to date must have taken a lot of doing. Although it helps that, you know, he's pals with more or less all the people who make these mods, so they I would imagine they send him to him, you know, and say, hey, you know, here.
Yeah. And the fact that they all use Forge helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, he has a server and they all play on that, and then they test the mods on there with it, you know, between them. So it's a bit like a creative think tank for them now. You know, they're all playing off each other. And
sure.
I was watching a video today where Alaram, who makes the Red Power mod, she was using a block to help a storage system called what's it called? One of the computer blocks. Oh god, it's a very famous name for a computer thing, not a server. What are the computers called? Can't think of the name of it. Something to do with distributing.
Network.
Something
router?
similar to network. Router. That's
Router.
it. Router.
Okay.
Router. They got a router block in here, and she was using that to put stuff into barrels because it can do it. She was saying how great it is. She said, but I can improve this. I could make a tab for it where it will then eject stuff that hasn't got somewhere to put it. Which is, I can't mess around with it because it's not my block. So you can bet your life that perhaps in the next version of Red Power there'll be a block that does something very similar.
Oh, bet there will be. Yeah. I bet there will be. Was unfortunately the source of Flower Child's falling out.
Yeah.
Was that he for better or worse, and truth or not, he did consider that more a less a respect of, I don't want to mess with your block and change it, so I'm going to create my own version of it. And he seemed to consider it more a instance of, intellectual theft.
Yeah. I have to come through, recharge my pack.
Which is a shame, because there's still stuff in the Better Than Wolves pack that I would love to have in here.
Well, that's the thing, you see. I mean, knowledge isn't something that one person invents all by themselves. It's a case of standing on the shoulder of giants and taking it to the next level. That's what that's how human history has evolved. And while, yes, people would benefit a bit from his knowledge, he would also benefit from theirs.
Yeah.
Being isolationist doesn't necessarily always help.
No.
Wow, I am full of junk. Yep, I definitely need to be able to cook things quicker. I wonder if the blue alloy furnace...
Snowy forest there.
Yeah, I'm thinking of turning that into my villager place down there, so... Some for them. Another reason I'm not happy with the storage room is because I'm ultra happy with this storage up here. Each little thing in its own mod pack chest.
I
really like this. I will do this forever from now on, I think.
It definitely saves a lot of grief for one, trying to figure out where something came from, so you know where to look it up. And two, should somebody, for some reason, let's say, I don't know, the forestry guy run over LRM's cat or something.
Yep.
And they have a falling out, you'll know which chest not to open and get rid of in the future.
Yep. Well, the actual mod pack's done by a guy, God, what's he called? He's an English lad.
Oh God.
He puts it all. Yeah, one of them. Unfortunately, he puts it all together because what he did was when he used to take Tekit, thank you, and he made a map, a playable map, done like over a void where you've got two platforms.
Sure.
And then this giant pyramid floating in space, and this pyramid was called the Beast. And what you had to do was you had to complete all these challenges of make this, make this, make this. And then you took it over and you put it in the Beast's mouth or in the chest, etc. And it took it away and told you whether you'd done it right or not. Quite an interesting challenge map for anybody who likes these technical things,
Sure.
Because you had to really figure out how can I get bone meal, how can I do this, how can I do that, I need grass seeds, but there's no grass around, there's just this one, there's no flowers around or whatever, and it was called Feed the Beast.
Yeah, I remember
And
originally being a mod pack. I mean a map, challenge map.
yeah, yeah, and so that's what it was really. He sort of like lent it the name of his map to the mod pack because he put them all together. Gravel. That's one of the problems with having automated sorter, is you forget where everything is because it just puts it there itself. Have you seen? I looked. My brother was talking about it now. Strangely enough, I looked at it last night on Steam. There's a new indie game out called Sang Froid. I don't know how you pronounce it in French. Cold blood. And it's basically your werewolf hunters. And you're these two lumberjacks in about the 18th century. And during the day, you've got to set up your traps for the werewolves, and then at night you're under onslaught, and you've got to fight them off and everything. But it says you can do things like a fear factor. They learn to be afraid of you the more and more of them you kill and everything. So that comes into account of it, and they can track your scent. So you could use that by following the right wind pattern to lure them onto traps. And
oh, very cool.
yeah, it looks a bit. Well, at first glance, it looks a bit strange, but as you get to it, yeah. The sale will be finished now on Steam because it was only about 3 hours long, or whatever. When I noticed it, there's what was it called? I'll have to put Steam on now to find out. There's a game where it's an online game, and you have a crew of up to 4 people, and you have your own steampunk airships. And someone will be the captain, someone will be the engineer, someone will be the gunner.
Yes, I've seen that before.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual game itself is like.
Yeah, I don't. It seems entertaining.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice thing to take a break and play for 30 or 40 minutes, that kind of thing, once in a while. There's no legs to it.
No.
Other
well,
than,
there isn't with most of these shooters type things.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, it's definitely, a hop in and play and. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice. It looks great. It's got kind of a role-playing effort, role-playing kind of thing, and that I think you can, as you gain experience, you can upgrade your skills.
Yeah,
And
well, that's the mechanic that's coming more and more into these first-person shooters, isn't it? To give it replayability.
Yeah, like an RPG shooter. Yeah, then that's the kind this is. Like you use your engineering skill, and as it gets more powerful, I think, and this is just the impression I got from watching a kind of review of it a while back. It's your engineering skill. You can create or make the engines better, or gunner skill. You can put in implants and make the guns better, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Which is always a bit of a problem with these online shooters, isn't there? It's the same with these pay for upgrades things. Is that you're then going to end up with some people who just completely outclass you anyway.
Oh, of course.
And you can't compete with.
Yeah. That's why, with all these things, I mean, really, you need to have about 8 or 9 people. Maybe up to 12, so that you can basically, jump in and create your 2 teams, and everybody knows everybody. Everybody's on the same footing. Everybody's wanting the same. Nobody's griefing.
Yeah.
Nobody. Everyone's of the same philosophy, so that you don't have. Most of you are sitting there just playing for fun, and someone else has dropped $500 in the game and has the best of everything. And
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I think you need to go out and make about 4 or 5 or 6 more friends. Get them on here. I've done my part. I've brought along my 2 brothers. Yeah, I've got a couple of friends at work that are hardcore gamers, but it's just I cannot drag them. One of them's addicted to World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
and I mean she is superb at it. So I mean she's the leader of her guild, and it's a pretty big guild. She joined, I guess, about a year ago. She joined this guild and worked her way up the ranks to leader. Um, and she is one of these really obsessive players
Yeah.
in that she has, there's like a cloak you can get, a cloak, or there's definitely a title, and I think a cloak or something that you get for completing every quest in the game, and like she has it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, you know, thousands and thousands of quests and every single kingdom, you know, every single race. And yeah, she really enjoys that game, so she's very much into that. She's working on trying to collect every pet in the game now and every companion. And then you got my friend Jim, who also is a great gamer and all this stuff, but you know, he gets on a game, and then that's his game for a long, long time until he moves on to the next one. And right now his game is World of Tanks.
Yeah.
He just, you know, loves World of Tanks right now. And plus he's a music major. He graduated John Hopkins with flute, playing the flute. And kind of like me and my art degree. It's like, you know, do what you love, and then once you get out, do it for a little while, and then figure out that you need a real job to put a roof over your head and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I've seen a few play that World of Tanks, but again, it's just it's the same with I suppose it's the same with all of them. They're online shooters, which,
Hmm.
as you said, they have a certain element of fun about them, but
Hmm. But you had to be, yeah, now I remember where I was going. I was sitting here going, where was I going with that conversation about him? And, oh, he's you know, he was a music major, and he's got his degree in flute and in music. But he's also, his minor was in history, because he's like a gigantic military history buff.
yeah,
You know, he's one of those that he subscribes to Military History Quarterly and has, you know, he can sit there, he could go on Call of Duty and start playing it and would tell you all the inaccuracies in, you know, whatever obscure weapon you were using at the time. So World of Tanks is really right up his alley. He sits there and he talks about, you know, how much fun it is, but the whole time he's talking about how much fun it is, he's also telling me about the inaccuracies in the tanks and how they, you know, well, this Russian tank didn't really work that way, and they shouldn't be including these Chinese tanks because they weren't involved in that part of the war. They only came in the last 2 months between, you know, between that Tuesday and the following Thursday, and you know, that
yeah.
sort of thing.
Do you ever get that weird thing where you're placing a block and it just refuses to place? It just keeps getting like deleted until you get a bit more blocks around it to let it place. Getting like, I don't know whether it's block lag or what it is.
I'm sure I probably have, but since I actually place blocks so rarely, it's not something I notice that much.
What's that? A witch! A witch is down there.
A witch?
A witch!
How do you know she's a witch?
I can see her.
The response is supposed to be, she turned me into a newt. Let us try this again, shall we?